Hello, fiber friends. Today is July the 13th. It is stage 14 of Tour de Fleece, and it is the 15th day that I'm spinning for Tour de Fleece because I did not take a rest day. Today, we are starting out the third week of Tour de Fleece, ready to ply these two yarns. And once again, my lighting is not the best. If I get it close, you get an idea of what the bobbins look like. And I'm very excited. Let's see. It is about 1:30 p.m. right now. I have to go pick up groceries at 3. I already set the appointment to do that, so I don't believe I'm going to get through this, but I will at least get a good start. I don't know about you, but I do not like taking a break from plying. For whatever reason, it's very hard to put it up somewhere where it's not going to get messed up, but I'm going to do my best. Let's see, you cannot see behind me here. I have a chair set up with my Lazy Kate on it, and that's where these bobbins are destined for. So hopefully I can just pick up my eel wheel spinner. I have the electric eel wheel 6. This is the original one, not the 6.1, which is the new version. I can just pick that up, put it on the chair with the Lazy Kate, and then set the chair off to the side. It should be fine. What else to tell you? I don't know. I cannot believe we are already on technically day 15 of Tour de Fleece, and I'm so happy to be spinning more. I probably said this last year, but I'm hoping that the repetition of spinning more frequently, aka every day, will stick with me and I can continue making a dent in my stash. If you've watched my other Tour de Fleece videos, you've heard me say that I only prepped 2 spins for Tour de Fleece, and as I'm going to be finishing up the second one today, I am on par and ahead of what I had anticipated wanting to do for the tour, so that feels great. I hope that you're also making a good dent in your stash, able to meet your goals, and if nothing else, just spin a little bit every day. I'm going to get going and I will show you what this looks like when I have a little bit of progress on the bobbin. I'm back. It's about 2:40 p.m. and I've been spinning for just over an hour. There is what I have so far, and I think it's coming out pretty good. I still don't completely understand the twist angle card or angle of twist, whatever you want to call it, but I think I'm getting about 30 degrees, which is what I want-ish. And I also think the diameter of my finished yarn without being washed is somewhere around a fingering or a light fingering. It's so funny because when I was spinning, I was thinking I was spinning so much thicker than normal, and maybe I am, but still, it's a lot. Do you see how squishy that is? It's very squishy, very soft and airy, and I'm excited about it. The one thing I'm less excited about, though, is back here, that middle bobbin right there, the middle, or it's in the middle slot, but the one to my right, hopefully you're right, but I think it might be the left, in the middle of the chair. It keeps, no matter how much tension or not tension I put on it, it is back plying on itself and just making a mess. I do not believe the single is over twisted, so I don't know what the issue is, but it's annoying me like crazy because I'll be plying along and then come across one of these very long pigtails and have to completely stop to make sure that's all the way out of the yarn. It's not the end of the world, it's just annoying. So all in all, it's going well, and what do we think? Maybe I'm half done? We'll see. I decided I need a snack before I go get groceries, so I'm gonna do that. And then we're getting groceries, we're doing meal prep. That takes a couple hours, but I'm gonna make my best effort to finish plying this tonight. And whether it's tonight or tomorrow, when I get done, I will show you, I will count my before washing yardage and give you guys an update. I'm back. I got groceries and did meal prep and finished applying. It's about 8:18 p.m. and there it is, a nice big full bobbin. And I should have stopped and showed you, but I have never had my singles come out so close. I had maybe 10 yards of the first single that I spun left, and I just did, if you watch, oh my gosh, what's her name? Fiber Love Diary, Tracy? I feel like I'm getting that wrong. Anyway, Fiber Love Diary, she does a turkey hand, which is essentially just a applying bracelet. I did that with about the 10 yards that was left and put that on here. And now I'm going to see how much yardage I have because I am so excited to find out. Okay, I have skeined it all up. It hasn't been washed yet, of course, but it is just fresh off the bobbin. And I have my notes here of what it is pre-washing. So obviously we know it's a 2-ply. It weighed 104.6 grams. It was 228 and about a half wraps around my nitty knotty, which is somewhere in the ballpark of 374 yards. And that gives it a grist of 1,622 yards per pound. And according to the Tiny Fiber Studio grist calculator, that is a sport weight. It's quite thin for a sport weight if you ask me, but maybe. I think it's more of a fingering personally, but we have talked about grist and how much I don't really trust it. So I don't know why I continue to fill it out or figure it out, but I do. And I remembered it wasn't Tracy, it's Trish. I don't know what I was thinking. It is Trish from Fiber Love Diary is who I was talking about. But check out the twist that I have in here. Quite happy with it. Just a little bit of extra, and if you watched my last video, you know that a lot of that will come out in the washing and the thwacking of the yarn. So I'm not worried about that at all. No idea what this might grow up to be someday, but I'm pretty happy with it. So this is going to go in the wash, and I do have my little mini skein that I did out of the long draw that I did. So these are going to go into a nice hot bath, and I still haven't figured out yardage from my first spin. I figured it out before washing, but not since, so I have a lot of reskeining and yardage calculating to do, and definitely before the end of Tour de Fleece. But I pulled out the spin that I'll be starting tomorrow. This is approximately 4 ounces of alpaca, which I've never spun, and I'm so excited to give this a try. This is some light pink with some dark pink spots on it, and I don't know, I'm gonna call it like a farm alpaca because there's definitely some vegetable matter and other things in there, so that will be an experience. But I will check in with you tomorrow when I do some of that spinning, and we'll see how it compares to spinning wool because I have no idea. I'll talk to you then. Hello, it is July the 14th, is that right? Yes, 14th. It's stage 15 of Tour de Fleece, but it is my 16th day spinning in a row. This morning I took a little time and I reskeined my first spin from Tour de Fleece. This is that BFL Merino Cross Sheep and the polyamide nylon blend that I blended into a 75-25. I have somewhere around 270 yards of this, and I did not bother to recount the chain ply because it's just such a small amount. I also washed my 2-ply Cheviot. This is the one I just finished. It's still damp. I cannot believe how much a 2-ply changes after you wash it. It's not my favorite look until it's washed, but then it really kind of blooms into itself and it looks really pretty. I was hoping to have maybe enough for a Musselburgh hat out of this. I think it's a fingering weight. I think everything's a fingering weight. Grist says it's a sport weight. I have about 370 yards, and from Musselboro, I would want at least 400, and honestly, more than that. So I don't think this is going to do that. If you have any pattern suggestions, I would love to know. I think it's so pretty. I've had this hanging on a hanger outside, and it's not a very nice day, so I don't think it's going to be dry today, but I'm hoping at least some of the breeze helps dry it a little bit. And I'll go hang that up in a minute. I'm getting ready to start spinning some of this alpaca. I'm very excited. I'm also a little bit nervous because I just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That being said, I've spun different breeds, so I think I'll be able to figure it out. Just to prove my bobbin is empty. And I think I'm going to be shooting for 35 wraps per inch on this one. So that groove right there. And just to remind you, this is going to be all spun onto one bobbin, all 4 ounces. I weighed it last night. It was 121 grams. And it will be the first of 3 plies that are all going to get plied up together. Once I have a little bit spun on the bobbin and kind of an idea of how it's going, I will give you an update. I'm back. I've been spinning a little bit. This is what I have so far. Not a lot. I'm spinning it pretty fine, but also it's a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to show you my playback test, but I have to get this closer. There is my playback test. It's not easy with 2 hands. I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. I think it's looking okay. I decided to pull out my Fleece and Fiber source book to try and get a little bit of an idea. And I don't believe that this is Surrey alpaca. I have no reason to think that, but there is a picture of one. That's what a Surrey alpaca looks like. That's crazy. So I'm probably spinning the top type there. They say most of alpaca is that, which is Huaca, Huacaya. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It does talk about the actual, it talks about fiber prep, but it talks about spinning as well. And it says that you want to make sure you have a little bit more twist than wool, but not enough that it becomes wiry. And so I think my plyback, it looks good, which is interesting because I'm still putting it at about a speed of 2.5 on my eel wheel. But I will say the spinning feels slower, like my drafting feels slower and also less consistent. And it does say in here that the fiber is more slippery than wool. For a kind of ideal spin or ideal fiber prep, they recommend blending it with wool, which I knew. And one of the things that they say is kind of a drawback to alpaca is that it just doesn't have a lot of bounce. And you can overcome that by blending it with wool. So I don't think blending it as a whole ply with other wool, I don't think it's going to have that spring. So I'm hoping that it doesn't, I guess, keep the other fibers from having a nice bounce. And it's going to be very interesting to see what this is like plied up. I already knew I would not want an all alpaca spin because I have heard that it's too drapey and it doesn't hold its shape at all. So by having some wool in the ply, it should help with the structure of the yarn. So yeah, I just feel like I'm going to be spinning this 4 ounces of alpaca probably forever. That's okay, I guess, but I'm still at the very beginning stages. So I do find that it's harder. It's a roving preparation, so the fibers are not all aligned. But I just have a hard time because there's kind of bumps and stuff. It's hard to get a very consistent yarn. And actually, if you look at this section, this is super consistent. I have some other sections that are far less. The yarn as I'm looking at it. You may not be able to see it from there, but it's quite fuzzy. And interestingly enough, alpaca is considered to be a hair. So it's like spinning hair instead of wool. Definitely you can tell there's, I don't know if there's any, but there definitely feels like there's less of that grippiness. So yeah, it's an experiment and it's fun. I mean, today's challenge day, but we're going to be on challenge week probably because I don't even see myself spinning this up in a week. So anyway, that's what I know for now, and I'm going to keep spinning. I'm still spinning away on the alpaca. A long way to go, like days, maybe weeks, but I had a few thoughts and I thought I would just let you know. First off, do you see this? Of course, holding up my hand doesn't help, but there you see, this is an alpaca hair, and they're not all like this, but I'm not kidding. This looks like it could have come straight off my head because I definitely have some grays. So when they say it's like hair, yeah, in fact, look at these over here. They match. And no, this did not come from my head, but it could have. So that's kind of interesting. Those are in there. As I pre-draft this fiber, there is just so much VM in here. There's a little piece. Some sections are just real bad. There's more of these little hairs like I was talking about. More VM. There's a pretty big chunk right there. Anyway, there's a lot right there. It's just a lot. Also, these pink sections, I don't know what's different about that fiber. I thought it was just dyed differently, but no, I think it's actually differently prepared and then put in here because it spins up like a tweed. So if you're familiar with a tweed, it kind of like gives you little chunks. So you can see what that looks like there, which I don't hate. It wouldn't be my preference, but it's okay. So as I'm spinning this, I don't love it. I don't hate it, but it makes me so curious because it's the first alpaca I've spun. And if I could compare this to something else, maybe a different preparation or from a different mill, you know, it could have different amounts of VM. It could have different amounts of those weird little hairs. It could have it could draft more smoothly. It's hard to say, and maybe not. Maybe this is just alpaca, but because I've never spun any, I have no idea. So it's very curious. That being said, my initial reaction is I prefer spinning wool more. It's not bad. This isn't bad. And maybe the end result yarn will just blow me away because that has happened. But I just think I enjoy wool better. So, but this is supposed to be really warm and I'm always cold, so that would be nice. I don't know. I guess I don't have a solid conclusion yet. I just, I know that it's not spinning up as consistent as I would like it to be. Again, that could be preparation, which another alpaca could be totally different. So it's very curious. If you have spun alpaca, I would love to know what your experience was, especially when compared to a wool. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it's a little more challenging to spin just because I think it is, unless that's all you spin is alpaca and that's what you know. But very curious. So yeah, fill me in. And if you know a good place to get an alpaca that you love to spin, I would love to know that too, because if I can compare this to something I know that's coming from a recommendation of someone who has had great success spinning it, then I might feel a little more confident. So yeah, I think I showed you this. That's how far I am, almost all the way across the bobbin. And I don't know, I think I'm going to spin for a bit longer. I keep thinking about stopping to go do something else, but then I remember how much of this I have yet to spin, and it's a lot. I am doing something a little different. Let me see if I can show you. I've got my chip clip here. I use this for everything. I use it a lot for plying, but basically when I ply, it just holds the twist, holds it where I want it to be. But for this is where I've pre-drafted to, so that way I don't lose my place. You can kind of see it too, but it just helps me kind of gauge. So maybe I will try to spin to the chip clip. We'll see. Okay, I have spun to the chip clip, or as close as I can get to it. And I think we're going to call that a day for spinning. So not bad. I made it all the way across the bobbin once, started on the way back, and I'm pretty happy with that. I noticed after I talked to you last time, my speed had gone to 2 instead of 2.5. And so I don't know if I'm bumping it when I pick up my spinner or if it is like from vibration changing, but I need to keep a better eye on that. So a little bit of my fiber at least was spun at 2 instead of 2.5. So that's not good for something that says it wants more twist. I wish I could, I have no idea what the weight of this is. I feel like I hardly spun anything, and yet I feel like I spun for a long time. This project is definitely going to take a while. It's 4 ounces, and I have been splitting my spins into about 40 grams for each ply. So having 121 instead of 40, like that's a huge difference. And then spinning a little bit thinner too. So I think I'm going to go on Etsy and just look at alpaca quickly and probably not buy anything, but I do really want your recommendations if you have one. I will talk to you tomorrow. Hello, hello. It's the evening of July 15th. It is technically a rest day for Tour de Fleece, and I think I'm actually taking a rest day. I had fully intended to spin on this alpaca, but I posted about my frustrations spinning this to a couple groups, and I think the prep is just not very good, and that's causing me some frustration. But then somebody else brought up another point, which I think is very valid, especially after reading in the Fleece and Fiber source book. It said, if you'll remember, that it doesn't have as much give as wool, and it wouldn't be the same. I know a lot of wool will have alpaca blended into it, so that would give kind of like the best of both worlds. And so I think to have 1 ply of this and 2 plies of wool, they're going to work against each other. That's my guess. And what this person said was I should sample, and they're 100% correct. I should sample. I don't like sampling. What's wrong with me? It's kind of like knitting a swatch. Sometimes I'll do it, but it's not my favorite. So if it were, I don't know. I was going to say I would do it if I was set on spinning this. And yeah, I guess I would. So what I'm trying to say is I think I'm going to take this bobbin off. I'll leave what's on here. I will keep the alpaca in my stash, but I think I'm going to set it aside. So let's see, behind me on the chair here. So this is the one that I have added in, and it is dyed by the same person, who I still can't remember who it is, as the one that I believe is Targhee. So this one says R, so I believe it's Rambouillet. It is definitely coarser, but I think with the 2 softer wools, it will be pretty nice. It doesn't feel bad, certainly. It just isn't as soft as the Targhee or the Polworth. But I think these, I probably even bought these at the same time, like before I knew anything about breeds of wool, like, oh, they're like the same color. So this one is a little more pinky. This one is a little more mauve and toned down. Oops, the sticker was still on there. So these 2 obviously match pretty well. And then the Polworth is still this one. So it's so hard to show all 3 of these at the same time. There we go. So I think that's going to look really nice. And these are different, but that purple, the main purple, is the same. So I think they're just falling apart. I think that will work great. And then I really do think pretty much all of those colors are in this one. So this one will kind of, I don't know, add a little pop of color in there. So starting tomorrow, that's my plan. I'm going to, I don't know, which one do I want to spin first? I might start with the one that's kind of like I started with the alpaca. I might start with the Rambouillet, I'm assuming. What else could R be for? I'm sure there's other sheep breeds that start with R. I don't know if you can gather anything about it from that. It's just a bit more coarse. That's the best way to say it. I hope it's not felted. So I might start tonight just by separating this probably into 4 strips. I just don't like spinning from something very wide like this. I prefer thinner strips of roving or comb top. This is comb top. Cody's chewing his bone literally 2 feet away. Of course he is. Anyhow, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to prep this for tomorrow, and we're going to start with a nice fresh bobbin. And since I am just setting that to the side, the alpaca, let me know those questions I asked about prep, or maybe you've blended it with something. What percentage did you use? Anything you know about alpaca, I'd love to hear it. So I'm going to get this on the bobbin tomorrow. I'm back. It's July 16th, also stage 16th of Tour de Fleece. And that should make it my 17th day of spinning because I did not spin yesterday. As I showed you, I have my new braid that I picked out. Instead of the alpaca, this is the new one, which I was looking in my Fleece and Fiber book. I can't remember if it was the field guide, which is the little one, or the big one. I think it was the little one. They're all alphabetical in there. So I came up with at least 3 breeds this could be if it starts with R, which was Romney, Romedale, and Rambouillet. And of those 3, I'm inclined to think it's Romney, but I'm also doubting it's any of those just because it seemed like the characteristics that were mentioned were mostly like really soft fibers. And I mean, this isn't like the coarsest thing ever, but compared to the other one, if it's Targhee and definitely that Polworth, like night and day difference. So I don't really know. We're just going to call it mystery wool. I tried to find the Facebook page where I bought it from, and I think it was Wildwood Farm or Wildwood something like that. And I found a couple different pages. None of them looked like it was when I bought it. And it seems like, I know it's Arlene Vasquez, and I know that's who I bought the fiber from. But it seems like now she's doing Rolex. So I don't know. I was just kind of curious to see if I could find other fiber listed under the R, and if I was right that that's how, you know, what the fiber starts with. But I don't know. I couldn't find it. So I did take 1/4 of the strip, 1 strip I should say. I broke it down into 4 pieces and I pre-drafted all of that. So here's my empty bobbin. I'm going to go ahead and spin a little bit of that tonight. It is 5:19 p.m. I might get an hour or more. Like, you can tell what time of the day is. All the west sun is coming in my face. But it's been a really long day, so if I go to bed a little bit early, I'm not going to be mad about it. I got woken up in the middle of the night by a work call and then couldn't fall back asleep because, like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I got home late today because more work stuff happened and I did not get out of there on time. So all that to say is I'm ready to do a little spinning, and I'm excited to see how this spins up, and I will report back when I have a little progress. I'm back. It's 6:33 p.m. so I've been spinning for a while now, and that is what's on my bobbin. So pretty good progress, I think. I have some thoughts on this fiber. I still have no inclination what it actually is. Let me try and get close to you and show you. This is so hard. Let me move you. Come with me. So there is my very blown out flyback test. The sun is not cooperating, but let's see, let's try it in this hand. Can you see? I think you get the idea. Anyway, quite happy with the flyback test, although now it doesn't want to come undone. Do you ever have that happen? It likes to snag. Ugh. Oh, I feel like I'm going to break that, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. But anyway, my thoughts on the fiber are, you can't see me. It's very coarse. It kind of feels like I'm spinning nylon, and of course I know I'm not. It's definitely wool. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is not a good time of day here. So it's got quite a bit of sheen, I believe, and I think that's part of why, and then that coarseness, but I think it also has a pretty long staple length, and I honestly haven't checked it because I normally don't. But then again, I usually know what I'm spinning. I'm really enjoying the color progression, even though it's all just like purple, pink tones, but it's fun to spin. So it's not the best example, but yeah, I think it's a pretty long staple length. Let's see. Is that like probably 5 or 6 inches, I think? So long staple length, which means that, well, to me anyway, so far it means that it's drafting apart really nicely. I'm able to get a nice long section to add twist to at a time, so I feel like it's spinning up really fast. And I don't know what else to say about it. Let's see, I don't think I can flip this around while I'm recording, which is annoying. There's more of a close-up. The sun is still just super annoying. So it's not the softest or squishiest fiber. It's fairly dense. I'm hoping that that will pair well enough with the 2 softer fibers. Maybe balance it out, or who knows, maybe it will completely destroy it. I don't have a clue. But if you have any idea what this fiber might be, something that maybe I can look up in my fiber books, I'd be very curious to know. And now that I know the staple length, maybe that will help me. I'm still leaning towards Romney because I believe that said something about having a sheen. Anyway, I am done spinning for today, and I will check in with you tomorrow. I feel like this braid's going to spin up really fast, but I still have a long way to go. Hello, it's July 17th, and it's stage 17 of Tour de Fleece, but it is my 18th day spinning. Make sense out of that, I don't know. Here is where I left off yesterday, and where I will be picking up today. This is all I have left of that first fourth of the braid, so I'd like to finish spinning this today. It is 5:35, so maybe I'll spin for an hour. I'm not sure. I'm like torn between wanting to spin and not wanting to spin. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I will get started because usually once I get started, I want to keep going. So we'll see how it goes. It's 6:27 p.m. and I am just spinning up the very last bit of the first quarter of the braid. I'm convinced it's Romney. I don't know. I don't know. It's a somewhat educated guess. Anyway, that's that. I'll leave a little fuzzy bit, and I'm going to go ahead and prep the next section, and I'll probably get it just attached to the wheel, but I'm not going to spin too much more, I don't think. So that'll be the next one. Isn't it interesting? I always think how the colors kind of, I mean, they're the same, but they do change a little bit when you spin them up. Sometimes they get a little more washed out if it mixes with white or a light color, and then other times it just gets a little bit more intense, and I think it's because the fibers are all just compacting. But yes, I'm very excited. Happy that I went to the wheel today, and I'll check in with you tomorrow. Holy cow, I can't even talk. Hello, it's July 18th, Thursday, and as promised, there is what my bobbin looks like as I'm getting ready to get started. And I did prep, and by prep I mean pre-draft the next quarter of the braid. So I finished spinning 25%, just a little bit over because I have attached this. And I'm excited to do some spinning. It is 5:33, so I'll probably get about an hour in. We're just getting ready to watch some TV as I spin. And I just realized today that the end of Tour de Fleece is on the 21st. Is that Saturday? I think so. Anyway, I had a thought. I would love it if I could get all these singles finished by the end. Obviously, I'm not going to get the spin done because there's still 2 more braids. But somehow I didn't realize that it was coming up as being done so quickly. If I remember right, last year, Tour de Fleece went right into Tour de Femme, which is the women's race. But this year I've heard there's a gap, and I don't follow the race, so I could be misspeaking, but that's what I remember hearing. So that being said, I am going to spin until the end, and record all that, but I'm going to try and keep spinning every day. I'm going to try and at least do a little bit, because one thing that this has made me realize is I have a lot of fiber in stash, some of it not the nicest, and I really would just like to clear that out, give myself a clean slate. That being said, just like my yarn stash, it's going to take a while to do that. So the only way I can do that is to spin and spin consistently. So I still really want to work on this. I cannot wait to, get it all applied together, get the rest of it spun, and see what that's going to look like. So once these videos are done, obviously I'm not going to have like consistent spinning videos. I just encourage you to check out my main videos if you're not already following me at Shauna Stitches. I do post about every other week and show you updates, and then also follow me on Instagram because I do post stuff there too. So I'm going to start spinning on the second quarter of this, and I'll give you an update when I'm done. I had a longer spinning session than I thought. I spun for about an hour and a half. It's just now 7 p.m. and I finished the second quarter, so that's half a braid there. And that means I only have to go, which it's spinning up really fast. I don't know why, but I like it. Maybe it's because I'm actually spinning, you make progress when you actually do the thing. But I'm not going to pre-draft the next section tonight. I will do that tomorrow. I can definitely get these singles spun by the 21st, no problem. I'm confident about that. Anyway, I will check in with you tomorrow. Hello, spinners and people who like to watch videos about spinning. It is July 19th. It is Tour de Fleece Stage 19, and it's my 20th day of spinning. I left off last night showing you that I had completed half of the fiber. Today, just now, I went ahead and pre-drafted the next quarter of the fiber, and it's Friday, so that means I don't have to try and get to bed at an early hour, although I don't want to stay up too late. But my main goal is to finish the next quarter of this fiber. So if I can do that, I will be 75% done with the spin, and I will be more than on track for finishing the singles of this braid by the 21st, the last day of Tour de Fleece. So that's my update. I'm going to spin and watch some TV. We just went out to dinner, and that's great because we didn't have to cook, and now we don't have to clean up. So that gives me a little more time. It's about 5:24 p.m. right now, so about the same time I started yesterday. It does seem to be spinning up really fast, so maybe in an hour and a half. No, it won't be an hour and a half. It'll be more than that because I'd already started the other one. So it should be about that though. It is 6:47, so just about an hour and a half, I guess, kind of like I predicted. And there is my bobbin with 75% of this braid already spun. I cannot believe how fast this is going. Maybe I'm getting faster, or maybe it's just this fiber. But that's it. I only have one more strip to go, and I will get that done tomorrow. So stay tuned. We have 2 days of Tour de Fleece left. I cannot believe it. Hello, it's July 20th, and it is 2:27 p.m. and it is the 20th stage of Tour de Fleece, my 21st day of spinning, and we just have today and tomorrow left. I haven't done any spinning yet today. Clearly you can see I'm outside. I just spent several minutes getting my fiber ready, which is pre-drafting it, and this is the last quarter that I have to spin for this braid, which is awesome. But like I mentioned before in maybe this video, but I think the last video, it gets windy here, and so as I was doing this, the fiber was wanting to blow all over the place. So I don't know how long I'm going to be outside today, but I can always move inside. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish this today. As I was doing my pre-drafting, I noticed this piece of fiber seems like it might be a little bit thicker, wider than the other ones. And if that's the case, this is probably going to take me a bit longer. My goal is still to finish this today. If not today, then by tomorrow. Once my husband wakes up today, we have some house stuff to take care of, which I don't think is going to take too long, but you know how that stuff is. It always seems to take longer than you think. So I will update you on whether or not I finish this braid today, and then I have to figure out, do I want to spin the next mostly purple braid, or do I want to spin the Polworth that is white with multiple colors? I can tell you the one that I want to spin is the white one with the colors. So I think I'm going to do the purple one to like keep myself motivated towards spinning that last one that I really want, so that I can keep going with this spin and make good progress. But yeah, I'm going to try and attach my fiber. Do you see how windy it is? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be out here very long, but we'll see. I'm inside, and it's several hours later. It's 6:07 to be exact, and yes, I did not come in because of the wind. Actually, what happened was my husband woke up because he works nights, so he sleeps during the day, and he has this terrible cough, so I said we should go to urgent care. So now we are back from urgent care. And that's how far I got. So this brighter pink right there is where the new strip of color or new strip of fiber started. So I've spun to here. And let's see, how much time did I get in? I got a half hour-ish. So this is what I have left. Still trying to finish it today. But we're going to sit down and watch some TV. So I don't see any reason why I won't get this finished tonight. I'm very excited to have it done, and yes, I'll show you when the bobbin is, I guess it won't be full, but it will be done. All right, 7:30, one episode of MasterChef, and we're in the middle of an episode of Traders, and I finished. One bobbin done and 2 to go. Obviously, I will not be finishing those 2 tomorrow, but it's good progress. Quite happy it's finished. It's very pretty. Hello, it's July 21st, the 21st stage of Tour de Fleece and my 22nd day of spinning in a row. That's impressive. It's the last day, very last day. Last night, I left you when I had finished the bobbin of my mystery, probably Romney pink and purple, and I had set out just to prepare my next braid, which I decided was going to be the other purple pink braid that I think is Targhee. And I prepared it. I pre-drafted the first section, which is this, and I started spinning. So that is what I did last night. And let me just tell you how difficult this is to spin, especially coming from what I was just spinning. A much higher micron count, coarser, long wool, which again was a new to me fiber. And I said, I think this is Targhee. I've never spun Targhee, so again, I can't tell you, oh yes, it's spinning like a Targhee should spin. This here, ooh, okay, block my face. Can you see that? I hope. Anyway, this is the fiber. I am guessing that the staple length is around 3 inches. There's my finger. So it is super fine. Oh, it does not even want to focus. Anyway, compared to the last fiber, very fine. You can see it has a lot of crimp. It's so soft, and I'm finding it very challenging to spin. I've heard good things about Targhee in the past, if that is what this is. But you'll see, like, there's a piece that is spun, just a single, and when I let it out, like, it just immediately fluffs back up. And I have definitely heard that when you wash this, it will bloom a lot. When I do a plyback test, it's just so unlike anything I've spun. I think this needs a bit more twist in it, but there's the plyback. There's the plyback under tension. There's the plyback not under tension. It's just really floofy. And so for that, the last wool, the probably Romney, why does this always happen? Oh, you darn thing. It's just gonna break. Nope, it didn't break. Whew. For the Romney, I was spinning at a speed of 2.5 on my eel wheel, and for this, I am spinning at a 3, and the drafting is much slower because I have to be a lot more careful. So needless to say, I'm putting a lot more twist in it. This is a much slower spin. I guess I'm glad I didn't do this first because there's no way I would have finished this in the 4 days that I finished the other one. In the Fleece and Fiber source book, I did look up Targhee, and I noticed that it says, use a light touch in spinning to keep the fibers flowing smoothly and put in enough twist to give the yarn stability and durability. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of twist to this and then do another plyback and show you, because what happened when I was spinning last night, I was spinning away, everything was fine. All of a sudden my wheel just stopped. And I was like, what the heck? Try it, make sure the cable's connected, everything. It is not working. And I definitely had a moment of panic. And then I realized that, well, what I believe happened, because it's working fine now. Gosh, I just added twist. It's still not great, but it's better. It's just so floofy. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plies up with everything else. But anyway, what I was saying was I took the battery out, and it still said it had 2 little lights of power. So I plugged that into charge, tried it this morning. It's obviously the battery's fully charged overnight, and it's working now. So I think it just wasn't enough power to run the wheel. So now I know I can't let it, get below 3 probably. I just need to, plug it back in. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this. I'm not enjoying this. I will say though, with the long wool, I wasn't enjoying that probably till at least halfway through. So obviously I just need to give a little time, but I guess it's discouraging to feel like I was spinning the other stuff so fast and then this just feels really slow. So, but it is pretty. It's very pretty. So this braid, the entire braid, is 119 grams. I obviously haven't spun very much of it, but yeah, let's do a little recap and take a look at all the things I was able to spin this tort fleece. Okay, I went and grabbed all of my yarn here. That's harder to hold than you'd think. So we have our first spin, which is about 120 grams, 115 or so, and it's a 3-ply. It's the BFL Merino Cross that I prepared myself, mixed with some polyamide and nylon blend. That's the color, and I love this. So this is, like I said, about 115 grams and roughly 300 yards. It's a little bit less. I had just a tiny bit that I chain plied left over, which really counts for nothing. And then I have the 2-ply Cheviot. Gosh, that looks so nice. Remember when I said I didn't like 2-ply? What was I even talking about? That looks beautiful. I love this. I don't know what it's going to be. This is, I believe, 350-ish yards. I don't remember the exact number, but it's about that. And it's, again, about 115 grams. And then, if you'll remember, I have the 10-gram long draw that I attempted to do. And, of course, 125 grams of the probably Romney. So, in total, roughly 360-ish grams spun, plus the little bit that's on my bobbin there. So, oops, mini skein fell. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I managed to spin every single day, and I know some people like finish a braid a day, but considering all the other things that I did this tour de fleece, I'm very happy that I made it to my wheel every single day. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that maybe something you saw here inspired you to spin more, learn to spin, spin your stash. The dogs are fighting, maybe? Nobody's dead. Thank you for joining me, and I do hope that you will give spinning a try or knitting with your hand spun, all the things yarn and wool. All right, thanks guys. Bye.